ARPG fans rejoice as Path of Exile 2 is set to launch into early access here on December the 6th, 2024. And in this video, we're going to dive into the 7 reasons why you should play Path of Exile 2 and the 3 reasons why you should absolutely avoid playing this game. And if you happen to be like me and really enjoy action RPGs, RPGs in general, and the gaming culture war that is raging on here in 2024, 2025, well, you're in the right spot. And if I earn your subscription, sound off in the comments below, as I'd love to welcome you guys officially to the channel. All right, but let's not waste your time and let's get into the reason why you clicked on this video. The number 1 main reason why you should play Path of Exile 2. It's been described as the Elden Ring and Baldur's Gate 3 level of a step up for the ARPG. And to top it off, not only that, if that's not enough to get you, it's got full crossplay and cross progression baked into the game. This is a game changer, especially for people like myself who like to play in multiple different rooms of their house, but also don't have high-end gaming machines each and everywhere. So I can continue my gameplay on PC and I can shift over to my Xbox, which will make it all the more easy to sit back, relax, and play this game. That also means number 2 main reason, fully featuring controller support, obviously for the console players out there, but also for the PC players out there. These 2 things go hand in hand, and it's great to see more games supporting this right out the gate. But this also is a huge step up from what we've seen in Diablo 4, which means continual improvement, continual iteration. And as a controller player myself, I am so excited to be able to continue to play my games the way that I enjoy. And yes, with controller support, this game does support couch co-op, whether you're on PC or on console. Now, the 3rd main reason why you want to absolutely check out this game is the campaign here is 40 hours, but this is just a tiny part of the overall gameplay experience. This is married to the fact that the world in and of itself is huge, and several people who've had early access have described that it takes an hour to walk across a full map. Now, whether that's realistic, whether that's maintained, whether that's absurd, whether that excites you, there's lots to see, lots to explore, and lots to discover in this game, in this world. So whether you're looking for a 40-hour, ARPG experience or something that you can easily pour thousands of hours into it, Path of Exile is here to say, hey, check this out. Number 4 is that this is the Dark Souls of the ARPG evolution. We already talked about Elden Ring and Baldur's Gate 3 as just how it is pushing those genres forward and how Path of Exile 2 is pushing this forward. But when we talk about the Dark Souls of ARPGs, immediately I go into No Rest for the Wicked. Now, while the combat isn't exactly the same and both games are offering and having their own levels of success, speaking of it, but you're talking about dynamic combat here, which I think is going to be something that the industry looks at and iterates on, and it becomes a new set standard. Now, this ties into number 5, almost limitless amounts of combinations and builds, with it becoming much easier to actually respec those builds over the previous Path of Exile 1. Now, critics of builds usually say there ends up only being one choice, but I think that there are tons of choices, and obviously there's going to be the most efficient and most effective choices, but there's still choices that you, the player, gets to make. I love ARPGs and RPGs for that, and when those options are taken away, honestly, it always feels like something is lost from the game itself. But now with number 6, there is no easy mode. There are no difficulty options when stepping into Path of Exile 2. This is something that I think adds a ton of replayability to these kind of games. The challenge that they face. This builds off of everything we've talked about in this video, from the builds, the combat, and even the controller support. You're going to sit down and really start to throw yourself at these enemies. Here's the thing that I've experienced, especially when playing and stepping into the Souls-like, genre, is that these have higher highs and obviously lower lows. When you've been destroyed over and over again, it actually forces you into the RPG systems. It actually forces you to take a look at your build and make a change to see what works better, as opposed to just face rolling on everything, getting the achievements or the trophies and feeling like you've accomplished something. When you tackle one of these bosses, you do feel the victory. You do feel the sense of progression. You do feel the elation that comes with overcoming a huge challenge. Now, the seventh reason why you should play this game, I think, is pretty apparent, because it really can kind of translate into why you can try this game. The game is a free-to-play action RPG. Now, there's a couple of interesting things here. Do you need to purchase one of the supporting packs for Path of Exile 2? Well, the answer is, if you're already a supporter of the highest tier, or you spend anywhere from $480 on the game on a single platform, you automatically got Path of Exile 2 and package and more. I think this is a really interesting way of rewarding your most engaged users of your previous game. It really does, I think, show a sign of respect, because yeah, I'm sure their most engaged users would happily spend the money on Path of Exile 2, and probably already have, let's be real. But if nothing else, it does honor that legacy of the money and financing that you have supported Path of Exile 1 with Path of Exile 2. But for the rest of us out there, you don't have to spend any money. So if the difficulty, if any of the reasons why I gave you is kind of actually like, hey, Brian, that's actually a reason I don't want to play this kind of game. Well, the good news is that there is no pot commitment for you. You can try it, and you can see if something in this game resonates with you more than any other game out there, more than any other action RPG out there. But I think that blends us perfectly into the second part of this video, the 3 reasons why you should avoid Path of Exile. And the first reason, especially for my shout out to my fellow parents out there, this is not a game for kids. We're talking gore, we're talking just the atmosphere, we're talking the level of maturity that it brings to you, the player. If you're an adult, if you're enjoying video gaming without the prying eyes of little ones, then I think you're going to be okay. Obviously, this is an age range. My kids fall on the lower end, which generally means limiting the certain kind of games that I play when around them. But maybe you're in a different boat and that isn't an issue for you. But yes, this is definitely not a game for the kids. The second reason why you should avoid is actually one of the reasons why you should try it, and it's free to play. I know whenever we talk about these business models online, they get a lot of pushback, but I do think and would offer Path of Exile 1 and the community behind that game as evidence of, hey, you should actually give this a shot. So it isn't so much a negative that Path of Exile 2 is a free-to-play action RPG. I do think, though, that if you do not like microtransactions, well, obviously you're going to find them here. And obviously you see that the money that people can spend could get into the hundreds and hundreds of dollars. But being that this is a genre and multiplayer action RPGs is something I like, spending $480 is really easy for me to do over the years of time that I put and invest in these games. That investment does mean more to us, the players, because that means we get more content. If you don't spend money, well, you don't get product. And that is the sad reality of this art form and entertainment products that we enjoy. But still, it is and can be a turnoff for those out there. And so that is why it makes the list of reasons to avoid. Now, the third and final reason why to avoid this game, well, it's not for everybody. We highlighted this as a positive in terms of no easy mode and no difficulty mode, but what this usually ends up translating into for the mass gaming population, especially as these games get hyped and people get behind them and they want to check them out. Well, if you're not into difficult games, if you're not into challenging combat, this isn't the kind of style game that you want. The hype sweeps you up. This is going to be something that you're going to find running against a wall. And what we tend to see within the Souls-like kind of blanket genre, which some parts of this game are kind of feeling like they're connected into to a degree, not a one-to-one. But what we're looking at here is that you're going to probably see articles talking about, man, it's so challenging, or, here are the list of players that are struggling. All that in terms of it is just content for people to review. It's going to really be up to you. And I think hopefully you've gotten something good out of this video. And if you haven't, I always like to transition into what I call the message of hope. Guys, I want you to believe in yourself. I want you to kind of shift the way that you think about things and actually believe that you can accomplish your dreams. Because whether you believe you can or you believe that you can't, you're right. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This one shift in your mental thinking can be the huge difference between achieving your dreams, or essentially staying exactly where you are. Now, I like to talk and focus in on a lot of mental health, especially men's mental health here in this world. We all love video games, and sometimes some of us use video games to cope, to not deal with some of the other real world challenges. I'm not saying that that's a bad practice, but what I'm saying is that I don't want you to stop investing in yourself. I want you to focus in on your physical health, because your physical health has a direct impact on your mental health, and these things two go hand in hand. Now, this isn't me trying to destroy your excitement for any video game whatsoever, but this is me just trying to encourage you to get out there and be the best person that you can be, because you're worth living for, you're worth love, and dadgummit, you're worth being alive on this planet. And I just want to encourage you that, especially if you're in a dark place out there, if you're struggling with the things and challenges this life, throws your way, you're not alone. We're all there with you. In fact, that's the lie that our brains tell ourselves, is that we're weird and we're alone and that nobody could possibly love us, or that the world would be better off without us. Well, I'm here to be your Clarence and tell you that is not true. The world needs you, and I want you to focus in on that. And I want you to enjoy the video games that you play, but also I want you to enjoy this life that you have. Anyway, that's going to be it, guys. Welcome to the channel. If I've earned your sub, hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you back. But if not, no worries. I'm just glad you gave me the opportunity to talk to you guys today. Again, I hope you got something good out of this video, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. But until then, take care.